So, the message that I'm getting for the beautiful collective of innately loving, innately joyous light beings is that basically things are balancing out. Things are balancing out because of how you weigh. WEIGH. How you weigh Ma'at energy. The light, interesting. The heart against the feather. When I said light, I was thinking about the feather. The feather being light, right? The weight. Your light body, your energy, how you shine authentically, your heart space and being at heart consciousness. There's a balance that has been happening for a while. It could have been all your life where you've just been figuring out who you are through trials and tribulations, through moments of temporary happiness and fear throughout your life, and how you've pushed through and focused on striving and succeeding. There's like an energy of hunger, wanting more. From the depths of who you are, not just whether you are materially abundant or you are abundant in joy and energy, and or whatever your abundance is or has been. There's still kind of been like this hunger, and you've just been moving through your life, through your choices and decisions. You've been balancing things out, and now you are finally at the culmination point of achieving that balance to the extent to where now you're vibrating at a different frequency, to where what you used to have to balance no longer needs to be balanced. It's able to be maintained, and you're walking into a new space where what you used to have to balance is now balanced for you. That you've mastered that frequency and vibration. Your soul is now understanding how it fits into your body in a way. Your soul is feeling more at home. And is seeing life from a more loving place. It's also recognizing that everyone has had a role to play in your success. So in ways you're turning negatives into positives. And that helps you to move forward in heart consciousness when you're able to really accept that. Obviously, now you're more wise and you're able to use logic with wisdom. The soul, the essence of you, is now ready to expand and to do things that it's never done before. So now we're moving into new territory. Everything is based off of frequency and vibration. And your presence in the world is very important. This is really a collective victory. Through the lives and experiences of your ancestors that have challenged you inside yourself, that have emanated your reality for a long time. The highs and the lows. In your sleeping and awakened states. And now things are going to be drawn to you. That reflect that. I feel that there's going to be opportunities of using your gifts to support people and breaking those chains around them that have allowed them, that have, I don't know if allowed them is the word, I feel like I'm kind of seeing like a execute button, like a programming, you know, like when they press enter and then it's like it computes and it's commands. It's a command. It has commanded people for a long time to do the things that continue to limit them versus accept who they truly are, or even just be able to see who they truly are. To accept their joyous self. Who you are is going to show for all eyes to see. And you are going to inspire many. And it's going to nourish you in all the ways that you decide to give of your energy. It is reciprocated. Because there's an importance about being a part of this world right now. Because many of us in the world go around doing things that we don't want to do, and that has been told to us to be the norm. That your hard work never pays off, but you care and you love so much when you do it that you feel like it's the right thing to do. But those are commands that, if we look at it from the perspective in which we're understanding now, have just further confirmed who you truly are at your heart. At the same time, those commands have also taught you, after burnout, after seeing the challenges of the roles that we've played in our family dynamics, the mother, the father, the sister, the brother, the son, the daughter, the husband, the wife, and forward. That things need to change. Like, we always have those family dynamics where there's certain things that a family member does that you disagree with, and you feel like, I'm going to do different. Or you always hear parents say, I'm going to make sure that my child has everything I didn't have. Or, you just like your daddy. And then you grow up and saying, well, I'm not going to be like my daddy in that way. Or that father role or that mother role that you looked up to. All of it, at the end of the day, was enriching your unique spiritual consciousness. And now you're able to go into the world in whatever occupation that you're in and be compensated fairly. Because now you're at the place where you know what your value is. So from here on out, there's only fair exchanges. Because that's just what it is. That's just what it is. This is all based on your frequency and your vibration, your thoughts, what you hold in your consciousness as truth. Everybody is playing their roles at this point. Everybody's playing their roles. The key here, though, is that there is a universal wealth transfer. It is. It's through the law of worth. And for me, the law of worth has to do with who you are authentically. Only you can be you. And that's the key to the releasing of the fractal line commands, the ancestral inherited blocks being now liberated on a higher plane for your physical manifestation. That's what is happening. A lot of you are leaders, and you have what it takes from your essence, from your soul, from beyond this incarnation to guide others. And not even just to guide others, to be a leader. Because you understand what the people need. Your specific people. The people that you represent. There's a people that you represent. And you're able to support and advocate for those people in a way that also nourishes you. And that's the self-love part. That's the most important part. You have to fill your cup first. There are people out there that tell you that you're supposed to be brave and give and give and give. Maybe that's your story. I feel like the people that I'm connecting with, you know that's not your story. Because if you give and give and give, there's nothing left to give. The people that I'm talking to have had to learn how to love themselves. And it's not just about going to get a massage, going to get a facial, getting your nails and your toes done, going shopping, taking a bath, putting some flower petals in it, some shea butter, even though I like that kind of stuff. That's not self-love. That is not self-love. We talking about value here. Value. How you work in a job that pays you less than what you deserve. When you work for the divine. So you telling the divine that's what you're worth, and you're accepting it, and you're mad, and you're unhappy, and you're burnt out. But you continuously agreeing to it. You know one thing, I'm going to just get real with y'all. That I had to understand how I was blocking myself. And obviously, I forgive myself for these kind of things. And allow that energy to reincarnate so that I can now manifest it in its properly aligned way. Is that I stayed in places so long because I honestly felt that I did a good job at what I was doing, which was true. This is relationships, this is work, because if you build habits in one place, the habits exist in many other aspects of your life. I would stay in situations for longer than what was comfortable for me. Was dissatisfied with how I was being compensated, with how I was being treated, with how I was being loved, with how I was being valued. But I would create reasons in my mind for why it made sense. So, oh yeah, if I left this job, if I go for what I really want and I leave this job and I go specialize in this field, I have to go get a whole nother job. I have to go 2 years and specialize in that before. And it's like, but is that what you really want? So why not go for it? right? I did that from when I was a kid too. I lost faith and patience in the school system. I wanted to be a veterinarian at one point when I was a little girl. When they asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said veterinarian. And that was also influential upon me. I wanted to be a pediatrician and then a veterinarian. And then once I got to 11th grade and it was time to decide, I didn't want to be a veterinarian anymore because I saw 4 years of school as more burdensome. So I then decreased my standards on myself. And I feel like all of these things I'm sharing consciously with you because they were all learning lessons about how I was operating internally. I was telling myself that I was exhausted. I was telling myself that I was unhappy, I was depressed. I felt suppressed, repressed. That my dream was no longer something that I saw as attainable, not because I didn't want it, but because I was exhausted. I was exhausted. You know, as a young child. Because my creativity wasn't being sparked. I was just doing schoolwork. It was boring. The love for animals that I had always, it wasn't there strong enough to push me. So I say all of this to say that every single thought, that every single emotion was creating my reality for me. And I was slowly forgetting myself. Until my body reawakened me through a state of dis-ease. And if you're someone like me, you've seen this in your spaces too. You've seen people who have been challenged with their health, who have been challenged with their mentality about how they see life, and they feel like they can't do these things. But there's something specific about you, the person that I'm speaking with right now, that even though you had these same thoughts and emotions at some point in your experience, you were able to expand beyond it. So there's going to be opportunities here for investing in people in the ways that is unique to you, that's coming from the heart consciousness now, that is opening and available to the new opportunities, because now you're doing things now that no one in your family has ever done. This message is not focused on The future is focused on the fact that you are now walked through the door to new. And you're gonna really love what you do. And it's fulfilling. Your relationships are fulfilling. Your sex life is fulfilling. Your interactions are fulfilling. Your investments are in alignment. Because you're coming into these situations with a loving understanding of humanity, or whatever we want to be called at this point, because I don't even freaking know really what that word is about. Because at the end of the day, it's all based on frequency and vibration. And people continuously want to put us in these groups, majority, minority, etc. And I'm not even speaking about race. I'm speaking about the way people think. You, though, are in tune with the cosmos. You, though, are working in sync in your divine connection with your counterpart. You, though, are bringing forth life that is expressing the genes that you guys are creating or bringing together in a healthy way. You are a demonstration of sexual health because you two are aligned cosmically. So the sexual health, it goes beyond physical protection. It starts from alignment of understanding that the sexual energy brings forth the expression and the desires of the ancestors of the fractal line, its limitations and its gifts. And it's up to us to refine those things in this body, in this incarnation. And so by you going through your life and getting to this point where you are today, as you're listening to this message, and you know how important partnership is to you now, there's no thoughts in your mind at this point that is saying, I don't know if this woman or this man is right for me. You know. Your value. And your value is more than the money. The money is an expression that you desire to experience your value in the physical. For some, their value is expressed through beautiful connections. Just people complimenting them and receiving gifts. It's going to all express in alignment with your unique consciousness. And however you and your counterpart come together, there's going to be a balance that is created. The monies don't have to match. What's matching is the frequency and the vibration. and it's bringing in freshness. It's bringing in joy. Your babies are gestating in joy. Yeah, bliss, and it's undeniable, and it's powerfully happening now. Okay, wave number 1. We got divine masculine energy here. This is very much focused on health and nutrition, the body, victory, movement, the energy of you, the masculine and the feminine combined. This is an energy of the health of both of you. Specifically, though, the health of your feminine. The food that she eats and the life that you guys bring forth together in union, whether this be a living being of a child that she will be the portal of life for through her womb, through her yoni. There's a focus here on nutrigenomics. So it's how food and all that is involved with that interacts with our genes to influence our health. So there's an importance on what is gestated, not gestated, ingested. So I think that's interesting that I said gestated, because gestation has to do with the time that it takes to incubate and grow something until it's fruition, until it's ready to be born, to be birthed. So I feel like that's saying that there is already the energy of pregnancy here. Whether or not it is actually physical now, it is in a mode of expansion due to frequency and vibration. There is this energy that I'm getting, number one, that there's always a focus on filling one's cup first, the energy of your heart physically, right? So heart health is important, and actually doing some research on the heart and the physical and the heart and the spiritual and foods that are heart healthy, like actually doing some deep research, because if you talk about nutrigenomics, that's not just regular Google what foods is good for your heart. So it's going a little bit deeper and learning about the genomics part. The example that I have here for this card is royal jelly, and how the queen bee is fed royal jelly throughout her process of development. She also, though, is the only one that continues to ingest the royal jelly even after she hatches, or whatever is the word for bees. And she becomes the queen bee. She's still eating royal jelly, while the other bees needed the royal jelly to develop as well. When they came into their self-actualization, they went out and they started using, the nectar and the pollen and everything like that. So their genes switched off to something else. So there's something that is specific for what is coming into fruition. Okay, so that should give you a clear understanding of what's happening here with nutrition, if there was any questions about that. It's a little bit deeper for what is being gestated and when it comes to fruition. For good health, for victory and success. There could be a shift in how you change, or your feminine changes in the way that they eat. These all could be different ways and scenarios that this plays out, right? But this is all for the good, right, of all involved. Definitely involving the blood, and like I said, the heart. The heart obviously is the main organ that pumps the blood so that it circulates around the body, getting it to those places that are nurturing what is being birthed, right, like the yoni, or even in your case, right, the male phallus. I don't even know if y'all got a cute name for y'all joint. But yeah, so also for the feminine, for her ability to divine and channel the energy of the cosmos and the earth, because she is going to be able to have that sight in the connection. So I spoke about in the main message, about the masculine and feminine sexual health, and understanding the importance of your partner is more than just physical protection, but it's about actually being with your person, because that in itself keeps things very sanctified, and you're gonna feel real good, masculine, because you are in the focus of this message and your cosmic connection, as you are a supernova. So this is always a part of the supernova message, and the thin line that is always there to keeping you in balance from that explosion state that can be forced upon you. Now is no longer allowing that external energy force you to explode and give all that beautiful star power away, right? There's a shift in the dynamic now. And there's expansion here, like I said, the energy of well, I did speak about the heart, so I want to make sure that, yes, this is in alignment with what I was just saying, that you're filling your cup, right? You're doing research on the heart, doing a little deeper research on foods that actually support cardiovascular health, obviously movement, right? Intimacy, that is aligned with the right yoni, because we done see men get taken out by some yonis. It has the power to do that, so y'all gotta be mindful. This is talking about you being in victorious energy, though, so just spread the word to your homies out there that don't really know what's going on. And that may be a part of your message as well. I think it is. Because you're coming up as divine masculine. So I wanted to talk about the heart a little bit more. I said go deeper into nutrition. There's a lot of information out there, and it should resonate with you. That's very important. So it has to do with you also tuning into your own intuition, listening to your own body, right? Actually listening to what you know is supporting you in being vibrant, because you and this energy love to do for others, and that's fine. 100%. It's a part of who you are authentically. And I know from this energy that you have, it comes from a place of love. At the same time, you have to be here. You want to be here. And you want your creations to come from that loving place versus a stressful place, right? So it is all about that. Let me take a peek at my notes real quick, because you know I'll be having notes from way back that make sense for now. Let's see. Yeah. Your North Node placement may be significant at this time. I definitely encourage, obviously, if you live in the Western world like I do, your North Node is definitely important. It will give you some insight. Also, looking at your Vedic North Node sign, if it changes at all, may be supportive to you as well. So sometimes in Vedic astrology, it may be the sign prior to the one that it's currently in tropical astrology, which tropical astrology is the signs that everybody goes by where you live. So it's easy to find. Yeah, I think you're gonna be, bringing a lot of people together. You're gonna be bringing a lot of people together, and nutrition may have something to do with it. And like nutrigenomics in specific, I don't know if some of you are scientists or you have a scientific mind, or you have the ability to connect these, like I was saying, you have the ability to forge these connections together, understanding like the scientific components of food. It's very scientific, but it's like you have the ability to bring these things together. So that it works for everybody. It's a collective thing. So yeah, that's your message. Be well, divine masculine and feminines, because I know y'all gonna be watching this too. I guess for the divine feminines, I feel like you guys probably are already aware of the role that you play in this, because I spoke a lot about the yoni. I will say that again, there is an exalted influence and magnifying glass on frequency and vibration moving into the new cycles, right? Beyond like these karmic things that we talk about for so long, that these lessons of life. It's just kind of moving into new cycles, success on all levels, the seeds that you have been planting, the lessons that you have learned, where you have focused your energy, bringing in money, relationships, whatever it may be. So nutrigenomics could be specifically about food, and I think that is the main channeling that I'm getting. I always say, though, food has more of a broader meaning, because food is anything that you ingest. So, you know what I'm trying to say, that part. And the things that you listen to, the conversations that you hear, being mindful, because if you are supporting in the birthing process, you could check out my last message, one of the waves I spoke about, the masculine being a doula. If you're supporting the feminine in this birthing process, or this process of change, or your community in a process of change, there's being mindful of what will turn those genes on and off, because the objective is for a healthy gene expression. So whatever you're bringing forth in the world, it doesn't have anything to do with you making the choice to make whatever you're birthing have a better opportunity. It's already implanted in the seed. So when the seed expresses, it has the information already to be better off than you, because it's already been in the royal jelly, right? The royal jelly, the royal jelly. It sounds so obnoxious and arrogant, like the queen, the queen bee. The worker bees, those genes weren't activated. So there's also another energy too of, I don't know, I do see like scientific trying to play around and do stuff. I would just say be very mindful of nature. Be very mindful of nature, okay? Because, biohacking and all of that stuff, I think is cool for the mind. This is just my opinion. This is not a channeling. Just as a feminine energy, the leader invests in what is natural, goes with the cosmic flow and the earthly flow of things. And this also has to do with frequency and vibration. Again, I know I always say that, but it does. That's just the way that the world is working now. It has to do with frequency and vibration. So, if certain energies, genes aren't activated in that way, it's just an understanding now that whatever has been ingested, whatever was inherited, all of those components, there's many different components, obviously, as I feel like I've explained enough, that have led to certain genes not being on. And I feel like, this is not an opportunity to manipulate genes. This is an opportunity to be mindful, to encourage people to thrive, people to thrive. You thriving first, though, that's the part that is important here. It has to do with you and the physical and victorious energy. So you can only share what you know, what your body knows. And that has been through time. That has been through connection to the cosmos and the earth. And that has been through nurturing and care of oneself. So, yep, that is the message. Be well.